Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 8 of budget crafting. And today we're going to make a splat box that folds up when you're done to store away. This was requested by Glennis McCartney, and I have made a splat box a long time ago, and this is the one that I made. I didn't know that's what they were called. I had to look it up. What's a splat box? But and the one that I have, it does not. I pulled out some sprays so that we could try them later, although I made them years ago and I haven't used them in a long time, so we'll see if they still spray. But this is the one that I made, and all I did was I made it so that my front would close up and stay closed to hold all of the wetter things that I leave in there inside. And but it is hard to store, so I never really thought about trying to make a foldable one. So we're going to try that today. I only have one box in the house. This is it. My husband had ordered some coffee, and it came in this box, and this is the only box I could find. So it doesn't matter. I'm not going to give you like dimensions. I may give you some measurements of this box to explain how you'll do your box no matter what the dimensions are. But you just need a box, something that you can use to spray. A splat box is something to do your spraying in, whether you're spraying fabric or paper or buttons or whatever you're spraying, it keeps it contained. And I made that one over there before I even knew what they were, because the first time I tried my sprays, they kind of went everywhere and really made a mess on my desk. And it was like, okay, I can't do that. And in my workshop, I do have a box like that when I use spray paint. And so I thought, well, I'll just make something like that to keep these under control. And that's what a splat box is for. So the first thing is you just need a box. And then I'm going to cut off the top. Now, this is super tall. I don't need it to be this tall. So I'm going to cut it down. Paper is 8.5 by 11 normally. So if I make it about 12 inches, that should be okay. You can have it any size that you want. And you're going to cut the top off your box no matter what. If you want to keep your box exactly the size that it is, just go around the 3 sides of the top, because you'll have an open side. Just cut the top right off. We don't need a top. Now I'm going to cut off the top, but I'm also just going to cut off a little extra because I really don't want it to be as tall as it is. It's going to be hard enough for you to see anyways. And even if this is not totally straight, that's not going to make much of a difference anyways. When you're using a sharp knife, make sure that you keep your hands out of the way and do it away from you. So I'm standing over here and I'm going this way, so that if I slip, if this slips out of my hand or off the box, it's not going to hit me. I've got a cut started, so I'm going to just put that down, because this does not have to be perfect. We just want it out of our way. And I did not have another box, so I have not even tested this. I've just kind of thought it through in my head, and we'll hope that it folds okay. We'll see by the time that we're done here. Alrighty, so there we go. We've got that one. And now I'm just going to, I can see the ridge in the box. And so I'm just going to kind of, I could see it just a second ago. Just going to kind of line this up with that ridge. And like I said, if it's not perfectly straight, that's okay. And then the last side here. Just kind of make a mark there so I know where I'm going. And I didn't want to squish my box. Okay. Alrighty. So now you can choose to, I guess I should remove this completely. I'm going to take my flaps off, so I was just going to do that now, but let's first get this far. There. Okay. The top of my box is removed, and like I said, you don't have to remove the whole thing. You can just cut around the top and just take it off. So this is now our Splat box, and this is how big it's going to be. And like I said, it doesn't matter what size it is. This one is about 8 1/4, so not quite wide enough to hold the paper, by 8 1/4 when I remove the flaps. Now, you can leave these side flaps on if you want to. I really don't want them here. My box is already 8 1/4 deep. I don't need that much more. To me, they're kind of like in the way. You could just have them on there and fold them back like that or something if you want to. But to me, I take them off. So I'm just going to just follow the fold line. And if you want it to be perfectly straight, you can draw a line and make sure that you follow it, you know, to keep it completely straight. To me, it's a Splat box. It's going to get dirty. Well, it's not going to really get dirty. It's going to get very colorful. But it's going to get messy, so, and it just needs to do its job. It doesn't have to be pretty. Although when you're done, you can decorate the outside if you want to. If you decorate the outside, I would decorate it in darker colors. Because even though you really don't usually get stuff on the outside, you may have stuff on your hands and you touch it, and it is just very possible to get stuff on the outside. So, all right, so this is what our Splat box looks like. It's just a box, a side, a bottom, and a side. You know, the box came this way. So, I mean, I just cut it like that with the bottom down here. I guess I should say a side and a back and a side and a bottom. Cut the top off. Okay. Now that you've got that, now we're going to make it foldable. So this is the part that hopefully I have thought through well enough. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to cut the side away from the bottom. We've got the two sides with the back. This is the bottom. And on the bottom, I usually do leave the flap. Don't know why. Well, on that one, I used the flap to close it up. But so you can do whatever you want there. But, so we've got the bottom here. We want the sides to be unattached here and over here. We're going to cut those both off, so then the bottom will be loose. But the sides, the bottom will still be attached to the back, and so will the sides. We're not going to cut it back there, just along the two sides. So, we're just going to cut there. Now there's one side. And then we're going to cut the other side loose from the bottom. Just again, cutting right in the fold. There we go. Like that. Now, the only thing that you need to do to make it foldable is to make sure that your back is as wide as or wider than your sides, so that they actually will fold in. Because you do want them to fold in. This is where the mess is going to be. You don't want them to fold this way. You don't want them to fold out. And so these are actually just a little bit too big to, well, there we go. They did fold in and fold in. But I probably should trim them down just a little bit to make sure that when you fold them in, that there's just a little bit of extra room so everything is not so tight. And again, not making sure that it's perfectly straight. Okay, so that one folds in. Now this one, will fold in, but it actually is going to fold a little bit higher because it's going to be on top of here. There we go. Okay. And then our bottom. Okay, and so this is what it will wind up pretty much looking like when we're done. All right, so now there's a few things going on. Number one is you want this flap that's holding this to the back. You don't want stuff to spray down there and just go running out the bottom of your box. Now, if these three had been solid sides, that would have been much better. But like I said, it's the only box I had. So you would take some, what do you call it? Packing tape. And you would put packing tape across here and up this slit. Now, I don't have any packing tape right now. I have it. I left my big one at my girlfriend's house. We were packing some stuff up and I forgot to bring it home. And my little one, I have no idea what I did with it. So I'm going to show you where to put your packing tape, and at least this way you'll be able to see it. But masking tape doesn't really hold that well when it's going to get wet and wet and wet and wet. So I would use packing tape, but use whatever you have. So we want to make sure that we have this back sealed up. And again, you won't need to seal this flap down if it's not there. It's partly because of the way that I cut the box. But we have a solid fold and a solid fold and a solid fold. In this area here and in this area here, it was not solid. It was not a solid piece of cardboard. So we are going to cover that up really well with some packing tape so it does not leak. Won't be anything worse than using your Splat box so you don't make a mess and then having it leak all over the place and making a mess. Okay, so we want to make sure that that's completely covered, and also these two sides could possibly leak also, so we'll put some tape there. Any place where there is not a solid fold, in other words, a fold where it's just a continuation of the cardboard, that's where you want to put some tape. So since this flap is not hooked to anything, it needs to be taped. Okay, so now that's all nice and solid so that it doesn't leak. So now we've got a problem here, right? Because we cut these away so we could fold it, but now it's going to leak right out the bottom. So what we need to do for that is we need to make a lip on the bottom that this will fit into, and that way it won't make a mess all over the place. You won't have leaking going right down out the bottom, because that would be the place it would leak the most, is the bottom. Okay, so we've got these and they're going to fold together. This is going to fold here. And now what I want to do is this is the bottom. Okay, so what I want to do with the bottom is I want to extend it out just a little bit and bring a lip up so that when it folds like this, that lip will go right over each of the sides, which means I need to bring it out just a little bit and then fold the lip so that it goes over the side. And so basically we're going to just kind of build like a little, let's set that out of the way for a second. Excuse me. We're just going to build kind of like the edges of a cookie sheet or something like that. So we're just going to come in like this. Excuse me. And we'll just use the cardboard that we have. And so we're just going to, I'm going to straighten it out. Things don't need to be perfect, but a little bit nice would be good. Okay. So I think we want about a 1-inch lip on our edge. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to kind of take my ruler, move the box completely for right this second. So we just have a rectangle that is long enough. Here's our side back to front. We need a piece of cardboard that is long enough to run the full length of the side of your box, and a little bit behind your box, about 1 inch behind your box. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we need to put a lip on the edge. So I'm going to hold my ruler there and see if I can just kind of hold down the ruler and bend the cardboard along the ruler like that. There we go. And so that is going to be the lip along the side of my box. So now this is going to be attached here, just like that. And that will keep from making a mess. But we'll have a spot right here in the back corner, because we're going to put this down here. It's open right to there. And if I just put this here, then that back corner could possibly leak. So what we're going to do is we're going to just bend this up a little bit. Okay, so this is going to be on the side, and we just want to, let's do an inch. Just come in here and bend 1 inch up on the back, like that. Okay, so we have 1 inch for the side, and we have 1 inch for the back. And we're going to just put a little cut. Let's see which way we're going to do. This is the side. We're going to put just a little cut here, so that when we fold this up and we fold this over, we're going to pull this in here. Now again, there could be a little gap right there, but because we're going to tape that gap, then we won't have to worry about it. So this is what we've made here, and I'm hoping that this is making sense. It's so hard fitting it in to the frame of the camera, and some of it I'm still like thinking a little bit on the fly as I go, you know, trying to figure it out. But now make sure that you tape this bottom corner really well with your packing tape to make sure that you seal up the possibility that a little bit could come out that corner there. But you've got it folded in that way, folded over that way, and it's going on the fold there, so it should be pretty good. Now when this whole thing folds up, it should be, I'm guessing what I'm shooting for is it should fold up to be about 1 inch thick when we're done. So we're going to take this, and this is going to fit right on here, just like that. Okay. Now, this is going to fold up like this. This is going to fold up like this. Then this is going to fold over that edge. So we need to make sure that we don't put this right tight up against the bottom. We need to bring it out just a little bit so that there's enough room there for it to fit up. You have a little gap there so that it will fold up here on our box like this. And then it will be 1 inch thick, because that's how wide we made this lip. Okay, now the only thing that I have to decide now, the one thing I couldn't quite figure out until I got this far, was I need to figure out how we're going to deal with this back part here as far as attaching it to anything. I don't think we're going to. But we are going to attach this. Let me see, am I going to make that tight? If I do it like that, and I do it like this, and I do it like this, and I fold this down, Okay. I'm trying to figure out if I make this right tight up against the back of the box. So then we do that. So I'm not going to tape it together. So that's going to just fold right down in there. If I have it right tight up against the back, and then I fold this down, yeah, it could be pretty tight up against the back. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're not attaching it here at all. We are just attaching it on the bottom. And again, with packing tape and glue, definitely and glue. That needs to be glued on there because it's not supposed to go anywhere. So I'm going to take the bottom of this that we just made, only the bottom, not the sides, not the back, just this bottom. If you put it up the side, then the whole thing will not fold. So it just goes on the bottom. This fits in here like this. And again, I need a little bit of a gap so that I can fold this edge over the side of the back. So I'm going to leave just a little bit of an edge there. So pretty much just leave a tiny bit of a gap between the back folded wall and your edge here. Okay, so there we go. So that's one side, and when it unfolds, then this is going to unfold like this, and then that bottom will keep it from leaking out. Now it has a bottom instead of like over here where it just goes right straight through to my table. Here it goes through to that cardboard. And if you put this, I don't really want to, I was thinking I could maybe put it at an angle, but if I did that, it would not close. Okay, so we're not going to, we're just going to make this go straight. And there we go. And then you're going to, let's get that. I can't really lay that back right this second because I won't be able to lay it back at all. There's a back there. But I do need to put some tape here, even though we've glued it. And again, I would just use packing tape for all of the places that I'm taping here. And I will actually come back in later when I find my little roll of packing tape and I will fix this. Okay, so a little bit of tape along there. And now we need to make the same thing for the other side. So we are going to, okay, this looks straight right here. That's the straight edge. And that looks okay. So I'm going to take my ruler and just put it right on there and just push it down on the ruler, pull up on the cardboard as you're going to get that fold there. Okay, so that's going to fold like that. Now this one we want to go this way so that it's on the other side, and we need that inch in the back. So hold that ruler down, hold down on the ruler, and it's much easier this way because of the corrugations going that way. Alrighty, so it's going to go like that and like that. And which way did I do this one? Okay, I folded the side, so I'm going to cut. Yeah, I think this is, I'm trying to figure out how I cut this one. Okay, this is the back and it comes around. So this is the back and it's going to come around. So I'm going to cut in from the long side of the cardboard. I'm going to cut that right there. Okay, then this is going to come up and this is going to come over. Now this also should be glued. I didn't glue the other one, but I should have. So glue this one and glue the other side too. It's not as hard as it looks. You know, you're basically making this little shape and you're cutting a box and putting some tape on it. It's really not that hard. I'm making it look harder than it really is. So So then we're just going to tape this down. Again, tape it really well with some packing tape. And then this piece is going to go right under this side. Now it's not going to leak out the sides. So I'm going to put the glue on the bottom and only the bottom, because I do not want to glue the back or the sides to the box. So there we go. And I'm just going to put that right up to the back. That's okay. Doesn't have to be pushed super tight. And then we're going to leave just a little bit of a lip over here on this side so that it can fold over. As we do this, we need enough room so that when it folds up, it has space to go around this, around the sides. And it doesn't have to be a whole ton. I think I actually even left a little too much over there. Okay, so I've got that there. And now that needs to be taped down. Get that out of my way. I'm just taping it to the bottom and kind of getting in there in the little tiny bit of a gap that we left so that we could fold it over. Just kind of push your tape right down in there like that. And I'm just ripping off this extra piece here. There. Okay, so now this is what we have. So now when you go to spray, you've got a solid bottom, solid back, solid sides. Nothing's going to leak out here. Nothing's going to leak out here. And you take your paper and put it in there. And normally what I do is I put parchment paper in my Splat box, and I also put paper towel in my Splat box on top of the parchment paper. But just to keep my box from getting, it is a cardboard box, so you don't want it to get too wet with all of the products that you're using, and it just kind of makes your box last longer. But you just take your, now we'll see if any of these work. These have mica in the bottom, and so when you have mica in the bottom, always swirl round and round or back and forth. Don't shake up and down when that's packed on the bottom, because that packed mica can go right up your the stem of your sprayer and clog it up. So I'm not even sure if these work because I haven't. Okay, so I'm getting some, and see, now this is the thing. This thing just went over there. I didn't mean it to, but it did. And so that got on my box there and not on my desk or whatever was sitting behind where I was spraying. So you can spray on the bottom. You can spray it standing up. Let's see if this purple one will work. And then in order, I'm going to show you how to, oh, this one does not work. Oh, maybe it is. Oh, there we go. I'm going to show you how to close it up and keep it closed while you're storing it. And you know, so this is going to be 1 inch thick. That's how big the sidewalls were. This one's not wanting to work, but it's, yep, it is grabbing. But it's going in a very pointy straight line. That's what your Splat boxes are for, because you never know which way these things are going to spray. That's as much as going to come out of that one. Okay, so good enough, but that's what your Splat box is for. And then when you're done, I leave all of my, I take this out, and I leave my parchment in there. I leave my paper towels in there until I feel like they've been in there long enough. And the thing is that some of them turn out really, really pretty. And let me give you a hint. If they turn out really pretty, especially your paper towels, I've had people say, why do you save your pretty paper towels? Yes, they're pretty, but what are you going to use them for? if you have a copy machine and you have a really pretty paper towel and you don't want to try using it in some kind of mixed media, or even if you do, but it's really pretty, put it in your copy machine, make some copies of it for yourself. You've made your own beautiful paper and it's all yours. So now we've got the box. The box is done. We know that it works. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to fold it up. So we're going to put the tie on it first. So now if you want to, I have these little, I got these at the Dollar Tree. These are just Velcro. And so you can, and I just take them and I put them together and then peel the second one off the plastic. Yep, and then you can put one up here in the front corner and put it to the side wall to hold that so that it doesn't move while you're using it, to hold it, basically hold it open. Take another one, put on there, and put it right on the corner of this side, and then press it to the side. Okay, so now there you've got your nice, good, solid Splat box. And in order to close it up, what we're going to do is we're just going to, across the back, just put a line of glue. And some ribbon. It's just ribbon from the Dollar Tree. Now you want your ribbon to be about as long as your side across the back, and as long as the other side, plus maybe an inch or two. It doesn't need to be super extra long, because when you fold this up, you will only have the width of one side right here, and that's where you're going to tie it. So like this is going up to here. We're not going to attach it though. We're just going to make it that long. Make this side of the ribbon as long as the side, plus a couple inches. And then just press that down. And there we go. So now our box isn't going to close while we're using it because we put the Velcro there. But when we're all done, we can just leave our paper in there. I took it out, but you don't have to. And what I would probably do is when I put my paper in, I would probably just put it in under the sides like that. So then you can't Velcro right here, but you can if you just give it a little rip or whatever. But that just gives you that. You can do it however you want, because it's not going down the back now. Okay, so now we've got it. We're going to close it up. We're all done with it. We just close up one side, close up the other side, bring in the bottom, and then bring your ribbon around and give it a tie. And there we go. It's 1 inch thick. It's folded up. It's ready to store away. Now, you may want to be careful if you've got a whole lot of wet stuff in here and you're just going to go over there and tip it upside down or something on the carpet. You know, that really wet stuff could come out even, you know, somehow. So, you know, be careful about when you put it away. You don't want it to have liquid that's running out of it. But there we go. And then when you want to use it, you just untie it. Get out of the way. Bring down the bottom. Bring up the sides. Put your Velcro on there. Put your sheet in there. And it's all ready to go. Now, the other thing that you can do is you could take clips and you could put a clip, put a little slit in here. I don't know what I have here for a clip, but you can put a little slit in the back if you want to have a clip. And the kind of clips that work nicely is, you know, those binder clips, the black ones that kind of pinch. those work pretty good. But you can use a paper clip too if you want to be able to clip a piece of paper up there that will stay in place while you're spraying it. Oh, I had paper. Here they are. I'll figure out what I do with my paper clips. Okay, take a paper clip, stick it through the back, and that way you've got it right there. Here, I'll just take this. You can take your paper and clip it up there if you want to, and then do your spraying, and it will stay up. Now just remember that wherever your clip is, you're not possibly going to get some spray in that area, but that will hold it up for you, especially if you want something to run down your paper. That's the perfect way to do it. But the only other thing is, the reason I wanted to show you that is because if you're going to put a clip in it, make sure you cover the back with your packing tape really well so that it doesn't spray. You know, that spray is really fine, especially on a lot of the different sprays. So you don't want that going through and coming out the back of your box. So just make sure that you cover that up really well. And that way, you know, so that nothing can come out of there. And the clip really is not in your way if you just want to stand your paper up there, but it does come in handy, especially sometimes if I'm doing little things like index cards or something. It works really, really handy to just tuck them up there. And look at this one with the runs on it compared to this one that was pretty much laid flat. So, you know, you get more of your rounded areas, or you get your drip areas, depending if you hang it or you don't. And the clip was right here, so the purple did kind of go underneath of it too. So there we go. There is a foldable Splat box. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it works really well. Nope, why am I taking that out? It doesn't have to come out. So, and I guess that I do need to take it out. I'm going to fold it up. So I just wanted to say thank you to Glynis, because I had never seen a foldable one. I'm sure that somebody makes them somewhere. But it really does make a whole lot of sense to be able to take this and just shove it in next to my, like my guillotine and my scoreboard and that type of thing, where I have room to just stand things up like that. It's 1 inch thick, which my guillotine's thicker than 1 inch. And so I have to take up this much room instead of this much room. So that really does, and this actually is a bigger box than this one. So thank you very much for the suggestion. I really think that this is really cool, and I will definitely be using this one myself. So thank you all very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of your requests. So if you have anything that you're thinking, I want that, but I want to make it myself, or I want to make it cheaper, just give me a little note in the description or in the box below and let me know what it is you're looking for. So thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate you, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.